In this video, we are going to learn about the implications of facilitating active learning. So there are various techniques. Using these various techniques, the teacher can find how far the student has understood the subject, and not only about the knowledge but also about the emotional balances and all other stuffs the teacher can know when these techniques are done at the end of the session every day. This will be very helpful for the teacher to know about every student individually. So the first technique is technique of 1 minute paper. In this, the teacher is going to test the knowledge of the student. Like after taking a session of class, the teacher is going to test how much they have understood in that particular session. So a piece of paper will be given to every single student, and the teacher will ask a single question from the topic that has been taught in today's session, in that day's session. So only one question will be asked, and the students will be given 1 or 2 minutes of time to think over it. After thinking, they need to fill the answer on the question that is asked. And they will be given only one sheet of paper, and only to one page they have to write the answer, and they should not exceed it. Only in one page they need to write. For example, what is an exothermic chemical reaction? For example, if the teacher has thought about chemical reactions on that day and asking exothermic chemical reaction, the student needs to write what he or she has understood within a single page. So after submitting the answers, the teacher will go through every single answer sheet of all the students. By reading the answer, they'll get to know how much every student has understood on the session that has been taken on the particular day. So this is about the first technique, which is technique of 1 minute paper. The second technique is making to report effective response. This is also similar to 1 minute paper. But in this, the student's knowledge is not going to be tested, but the student's emotional reactions are going to be tested. So when you give a piece of paper, they need to write up to one page only about their emotional reactions, how they felt on it. They need to write that and not their knowledge on that topic. And this can be applicable only for two subjects. One is language subjects and one is social science classes, and not for other subjects like maths and science. Now, for example, describe the feelings expressed by Wordsworth in the sonnet Daffodil. So, maybe the teacher would have thought about the Wordsworth sonnet Daffodil. So, what do you feel? Like, you have to express your emotional reactions towards the sonnet Daffodil, which was written by Wordsworth. So what you feel, you need to write about that. You're not supposed to write what he is saying, what content he has told. You're not supposed to write. After listening to what he is saying, what Wordsworth is saying, what you feel about it, the emotional reactions of yours, you have to write it in the paper. So this is making to report effective response. Next is daily assignment. Daily assignment is also like 1 minute paper and reporting effective response technique only. But in daily assignment, more time will be given for the students to think and write. More time will be given. And in daily assignment, the teacher will spend maybe 10 minutes of time. During the class hour itself, they will spend 10 minutes of time and they can give you an assignment. Or they can also give it like a home assignment. They'll give you the question. You have to go to your home, take the entire day time and submit it on the next day. So it is like that. And one more important thing is, in this there is one drawback. That is, you won't be able to get immediate feedback. The teacher will not get immediate feedback. You will not be able to find the student's progress immediately. The next day only you will be able to know about the student's progress on the topic that has been taught. But one more thing is, in this complex questions will be asked and not direct questions. In the other techniques, direct questions were asked. But then in daily assignment, complex questions will be asked, a little harder questions will be asked. For example, point out any two research findings showing the importance of heredity in personality development. So if heredity was a topic that was taught in today's class, this question will be asked for you to do as the daily assignment, for you to do it as an assignment and come. So this is not a direct question. You have to go think a lot and refer a lot of textbooks and websites in order to find the answer for this and understand. So time is given for doing that. So this question is little complex, but you can find answer because more time is given to you. And by looking at the way in which you have written the answer and the points that you have written in the answer, the teacher will get to know how much you have understood about the topic and how good your progress is in studying. So this is about daily assignment technique. The next technique is reading quiz. So in reading quiz, the teacher will tell the topic that she or he is going to teach in the next class. So the teacher will be like, I'm going to teach heredity topic in the next class. So I want you to learn about the heredity topic before the next class and you should be prepared. So I'll be asking you some small quiz questions on that day. So the students need to prepare for the heredity topic before the class. So on the day of class, the teacher will be asking a few one-word questions. So the students have to answer. So by the way in which the teacher is framing questions and asking, the students will get an idea on how to learn the topic, what are the important contents to be learned in a topic, where to concentrate, all that they'll get to know after the teacher conducts the quiz. So it will be very easy for the students in the next quiz class because they'll get an idea on how to prepare for the quiz, how to read a topic, what are the important key points, how to frame questions, all that they will learn when quizzes are kept on regular basis. So this is about this technique, reading quiz. The next technique is clarification pauses. So this is a technique which is used for promoting active learning of the students. So in this, the teacher will teach a difficult concept or some concept the teacher will teach. So most of the time when concepts are taught, it will be little difficult for the students to understand. So the teacher, after teaching the concept, will give a pause. A little longer pause will be given. This pause is given because the teacher wants to check whether the students have understood the concept or not. So during that little pause, the teacher will walk around the classroom. So when the teacher is going around the classroom, the teacher will look into the students' notes also. And when the teacher is walking like that, even the students who really feel shy to ask doubts in front of the entire class will ask doubts to the teacher personally because the teacher is near the students' bench only. So doubts of the students will be clarified in that pause gap. In that pause gap, the students are getting a chance to clarify their individual doubts because the teacher is going around the classroom in that gap period. So after teaching a concept, this gap is very important because for the students who are shy also will express their doubts when the teacher is coming personally to their bench. So this is about the clarification pauses. So whenever a concept is taught, the teacher has to make sure that every student has understood the concept. The teacher can find that only when the teacher goes rounds after teaching the concept. And even if the student have some doubts, they will ask and get it clarified when the teacher is individually going to their benches. The next technique is Socratic method. So Socrates, he's a great Greek philosopher who used question-answer method. So this philosopher Socrates, he used question-answer method. So this method could be used in the classroom. How this method can be used in the classroom? The teacher needs to ask question to the students after a lecture, or also during the lecture also the student can ask. So when a question is asked, the student needs to give an answer for the question. If the student is not able to give correct answer, or the student is not able to give the answer which the teacher is expecting, the same question can be passed on to the next student. And even if the next student is not able to answer, it can be passed on to the next student. Like that, the question will be passed on till the correct answer which is expected by the teacher is given by some student in the class. So this method will be very helpful for the students to learn during class hour itself. Because even if they didn't answer the question correctly, when it is passed on and when some student gives an answer, the student who didn't know the answer will also learn the answer for the question that was asked by the teacher on that day. So this is the Socratic method. The next technique is student summary. So now after the student has given an answer to the question that was asked by the teacher will choose another student in the class and will ask that student to summarize the answer that the other student gave for the question which was asked by the teacher. This is asked because many students, they don't listen in the class. When a student is answering in the class, they are least bothered. They won't listen to what answer the student is giving. But when you are keeping this method, when you are asking another student to summarize the answer given by that student, definitely all students will pay attention in the class. Because only if they pay attention, they'll be able to answer to the summary question. Otherwise, they'll not be able to answer. So they'll pay attention when other students are giving an answer to the question that was asked by the teacher. So in order to make all the students attentive in class, this method was used. This method is the student summary. So this method in short is the teacher would have asked the question and the student would have given an answer. After the student gave an answer for the question, the teacher will pick up another student and will ask the student to give the summary on the answer that was given by the student. So the student will be able to summarize only when the student has paid attention. So definitely when this method is asked by the teacher or followed by the teacher, definitely all students will pay attention in class. The next technique is fishbowl method. So in this, before starting the class, an index card will be given to every student, and in that index card the student's name will be written. So before the commencement of the class, that is before starting a class, index card in which the student's name will be written, that will be given to every student. Next, after the class has been completed, that is at the end of the class, the students will be asked, that is every single student will be asked to write any 2 questions on the concept that was taught in the class. On that particular class, whatever concept was taught, and if you had some doubts in that, you can write 2 doubts. That is in the question format, you can write your 2 doubts. Like you have found this part difficult in that concept. Means you can frame a question on that and write. So 2 questions every student can write. So after writing the 2 questions in the index card, you have to go and drop it inside the plastic box which is kept in the classroom. So every student after writing the question should place it in the plastic box that is kept in the classroom. Next, at the end of the day, the teacher will collect all of those index cards and will leave the class. Next, at the beginning of the next class, the teacher will read all the questions that is present in the index card which was written by the students. Will read every single question and first will try to make other students answer. Will read the question and will check whether any other student has an answer for this or not. If no student is able to answer for that question, then finally the teacher himself or herself will give an answer for the question which was written by the student. Will explain that in detail and will make sure that doubts are being clarified properly for that question. So by doing this technique, active participation is done. Because all students are participating in the class. When a question is asked, if some other student knows, that student will answer. If no one knows, the teacher will answer. So active participation is done, and when this method is followed, everyone are able to clarify all their doubts. So this is the main purpose of fishbowl method. The next method is finger signal. So in this technique, the teacher will be giving a question, which is the multiple choice questions with 4 possible options. Now, a question will be given and 4 options will be given. This is similar to choose the correct answer. So the student is not going to tick the answer in this. The student is going to show this finger signals. If the student is showing a single finger as a signal, then we can say that the student is telling the first option is correct. If the student is raising two fingers, then we can say that the student is saying the second option is correct for the question. If the student is raising 3 fingers, then we can say that the student is telling the third option is correct for the given question. If the student is raising 4 fingers, then we can say that the student is telling the fourth option is correct for the given question. Now, for example, is carbon present in all organic compounds? So this is the question and 4 options will be given. The first option is yes, second option is no, third option is sometimes, and fourth option is most of the times. So now if the student feels the first option is right, the student will show one finger, will raise one finger on top. If the student feels second option is right, the student will raise 2 fingers on top. If the student feels third option is right, the student will show 3 fingers. If the student feels the fourth option is right, the student will raise 4 fingers. So by looking at the student raising the fingers, the teacher will get to know how many students have raised for the correct option. So by looking at this, the teacher will get to know how many of them have answered correctly and how many have not understood the topic. That's the reason being they are showing wrong number of fingers. So by looking at this, the teacher will be able to find who has understood and who has not understood the concept that has been taught in class. The next method is flashcard method. So this flashcard method, it is an alternative form of the finger signal method which we learned. So in this technique, the teacher will be flashing the cards one by one containing a question. So first the teacher will take a card, take a flash card and will show to the students. In that flash card, a question will be written and 10 seconds time will be given for the students to think for the answer. So after the 10 seconds is completed, the students have to raise their fingers. Similar to the finger signal method only. If option 1 is correct, they need to raise 1 finger. If option 2 is correct, they need to raise 2 fingers. If option 3 is correct, they need to raise 3 fingers. If option 4 is correct, they need to raise 4 fingers. So in this, in the flashcard, a question will be written and 10 seconds time will be given for the students to think for the answer. And after 10 seconds, they need to raise their finger and show which option is correct. So by looking at the responses, like by looking at the raised fingers, the teacher will get to know how many students have answered correctly and how many have understood the concept properly. Next, after answering the first question, the teacher will take the next flashcard, the second flashcard. In that, the second question will be written. For the second question, again 10 seconds time will be given and again the students have to raise their fingers depending on what answer they feel is correct. So by doing this, the teacher is able to understand how many students are answering correctly and how many have not answering correctly, how many have not understood the concept. If more number of students are answering wrongly for a particular question, then you have to keep that flashcard separately. Because at the end of the class, you need to take those flashcards which most of the students have answered wrongly. You have to read those questions and explain that in detail and make the students understand why this option is right along with the proper reason for it. So this is about the flashcard technique. Okay, next it is share learning in pair. Now when students are getting paired and they will be sharing the learning activities. So two of them will be there paired together and those 2 students, they will discuss about the learning activities among themselves. And when you are, sharing the learnings that you have done in class, in pairs, it will be very helpful, because rather than group learning, this will be more helpful, because in a group, for example, if there are 5 members in a group, maybe only 3 are participating. The other 2 are simply sitting and talking. So that is not going to work fine, because in a group, everyone should participate. But when it comes to group learning, maybe some will not participate. But in this pair learning, it is not like that. Only 2 of them are there. Only 2 students are there, and both the students, they will discuss about the learnings that they have done in the class. If they have doubts, they will clarify within themselves itself. And one person will have an idea about the topic, another person will have some other idea on that topic. So when you both discuss together, you will learn more new things on that topic. So this is about share learning in pair. The last technique is discussion. So in discussion, the students will be paired in twos. That is, 2 students will be paired as a team. Like that, many pairs will be made. 2 pairs will be made. So after making 2 pairs, all those pairs should sit in a circle form. After sitting in a circle form, a question will be asked to a pair. When a question is asked to a pair, both of them can discuss. Both of them can discuss about the question and finalize that this will be the answer. Both after discussing, they can finalize which option will be the answer, and they can tell it to the teacher with the explanation for it. Maybe in the next turn, the person who didn't answer can give an answer in the pair. Now if first student is answering in the pair, next for the second question, the second student can answer in the pair. So in this way it can be done. So this is about discussion. So discussion is similar to share learning in pair only. But here the only thing is, all the pairs, they'll sit in a circle and the questions will be asked for every single pair one by one. It is like that. And for example, we can say that we are showing them a flashcard where there is a question in it and the options are there. So the students, they will decide that this option will be the answer after discussing. So after discussing, they would have given an answer. Next, the teacher will check whether the given answer by the pair is right or wrong. If it is right, the teacher will ask the students to write the reason for it. Even if it is wrong, the teacher will ask them to write the reason, because they want to know why they chose that option. So after looking at the reason, if they feel yes, this is the right reason for the question, then they will tell very good and leave. If they feel no, this is not the right explanation, the teacher will give a proper explanation for the correct answer. So this is about the discussion. I hope you have understood this answer. Totally there are 12 techniques in this answer. For active learning, there are total 12 techniques. So learn all the 12 techniques. It is very important. Thank you so much. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share it with your friends.